September 1943. The Adriatic wind bites through canvas and wool as Captain Elena Markovic presses her back against the damp limestone wall of a derelict farmhouse. The ruins sit atop a ridge outside Split. Croatia, once a shepherd's shelter, now a hidden outpost for partisans. Elena's breath comes slow, measured, but her heart thunders. Every sound could be German patrols, every shadow an informer. Her unit is small, 5 women and 7 men, scarred, determined, silent. Rumors of Axis reinforcements have grown louder these last 2 nights, carried on the trudging boots of deserters and whispers from guerrillas deep in the hinterlands. Elena's sergeant, a quiet Bosnian named Tarek, leans close, whispering in the darkness. They're close. Elena glances at her radio, bulky, battery-worn, its static a constant reminder of how far they are from Allied command. Her orders came from British Special Operations, Executive So, disrupt German supply lines, steal codes, save prisoners, survive. But now, tasked with sabotaging a rail bridge used to ferry troops to the Aegean, the stakes feel impossibly high. At 22, Elena's face is young but hardened, the warrior molded by months in the field. Her dark hair is pinned under a faded olive cap. Across from her, Lieutenant Marie Durant of Free France adjusts her pistol, lips moving in a silent prayer. Marie's eyes reflect fatigue and fire in equal measure. She fought through Lyon and now here in the Balkans, wearing a faded tricolor patch beneath dust and grime. Outside, the rustle of underbrush makes rifle barrels twitch. The women had been trained for infiltration, demolition, forged identity papers, and silent kills, skills many thought unnatural for a woman. But war had learned them well. In previous weeks, they had crossed enemy lines at night through fields of shattered wheat, ambushed supply wagons, and decoded encryption that saved dozens of partisan squads from annihilation. Elena presses her palm to the cold stone, steadying herself. Beside her, Corporal Sofia Petrova, once a mathematics teacher from Sofia, cocks her head, listening. Sofia's brilliant mind cracked countless German ciphers. But here, in the dark, even logic feels fragile. A crack rings out bone deep. Sandals and boots scrabble. A German officer's voice barks commands nearby. The group freezes. Elena's pulse spikes. Elena signals Tarek with a clenched fist. They are exposed. A flare suddenly streaks overhead, slicing through night like a ghostly blade. The flare's ghostly light illuminates the ridge for a heartbeat, revealing broken tiles and the ragged outlines of Elena's unit. She tenses, feeling the cold metal of her pistol under her fingers. Every instinct screams to move, but movement is deadly. Outside, German boots stomp over gravel. Closer, the enemy patrol has picked up a scent. Elena signals the women, split into pairs, shadows of ghosts slipping through the darkness. Maria and Sofia vanish to the east. Elena and Tarek hug the western wall. The wind shifts, carrying the sharp tang of gun oil and smoke from distant artillery. Elena's mind races. One wrong step, and they could all be captured or worse. A young recruit, Anna, barely 17, stifles a whimper. Elena's gaze finds her, softening for a fraction of a second. Steady, she whispers. Anna nods, clutching her rifle like a talisman. She's a local girl, familiar with these hills, but this is her first night in real combat. The patrol rounds the corner. German helmets glint under the flare. Shouts pierce the night, orders barked in sharp, guttural tones. Elena's teeth clench. She adjusts her aim. They need this bridge destroyed. The partisans' mission depends on it. Supplies cannot reach the front line. Prisoners cannot remain in enemy hands. Every second matters. From the eastern ridge, Marie fires a single shot, precise, clean. The German officer collapses, a stunned groan escaping him. Confusion erupts. Elena's pulse hammers. This is war in its rawest form. Calculated violence, human fragility, and moral compromise compressed into seconds. The group moves. They weave through crumbled walls, their shadows flickering in the flare's light. Each heartbeat is a countdown. Elena leads them down a narrow ravine, rain beginning to pelt their faces, mud sucking at boots. Somewhere below, the river gurgles, carrying off the echo of gunfire. They pause near the rail bridge, a monolithic structure of steel and timber, humming faintly with distant German locomotives. The women crouch behind fallen beams. Elena inspects the charges, wires, and detonators, her hands steady despite the storm in her chest. She can hear footsteps, shouted commands, and the desperate murmurs of her unit. Suddenly, a twig snaps underfoot. Someone is coming, not a patrol. Someone moving too cautiously to be German. Elena freezes, recognizing the gate. A partisan scout emerges from the shadows, only seconds too late. Compromised, he whispers, eyes wide. Elena glances at the wires. Explosives are set, but now the timing must be perfect. Too soon, and they risk friendly fire. Too late, and the enemy could sweep the ridge, cutting off escape. Sweat drips down her temple, mixing with the rain. A flash of steel from across the bridge catches her eye. A German sentry, binoculars trained on the tracks, scanning. The countdown begins in Elena's mind. Every tick of the clock pounds in her ears like artillery. Elena's fingers tighten around the detonator wires. The bridge stretches before her, steel beams glinting wet under the rain. Each bolt and plank a lifeline for German supplies. Tarek crouches beside her, eyes scanning the slope above. Every second feels stretched to infinity, every heartbeat a countdown. From the eastern ridge, Marie and Sophia fire sporadically, keeping the German sentries' heads down. Their shots echo across the valley, blending with the rumble of distant artillery. Elena swallows fear, forcing calm into her veins. She thinks of the prisoners whose lives depend on this. She thinks of Anna, gripping her rifle with trembling hands but unwavering courage. The sentry on the bridge shifts, his binoculars tracing the shadowed hillside. Elena freezes, the rain streaming down her face, mixing with sweat and grit. She can almost hear her pulse in her ears. The moment demands precision, timing, and nerve. On my mark, she whispers to Tarek, her voice barely audible above the storm. He nods. Around them, the others hold their breaths, waiting. A sudden crack, a branch giving way under the weight of German boots, makes Anna flinch. Elena's eyes lock on the bridge supports, visualizing the exact points where the charges will shatter the beams. Marie signals from the ridge. 3 German soldiers are moving closer. Alerted by the flare, Elena calculates. There's no room for error. One wrong move, and the entire team is lost. She steadies the final wire. Click. Connection made. Tarek steps back, giving her room. Elena glances at Anna. The girl nods, gripping her rifle like a lifeline. Elena whispers, "Courage now. Anna, this is why we fight." Anna swallows, eyes wide, and ducks behind a stone outcrop. A sudden shout. The German sentry has noticed movement near the base of the bridge. Elena's heart lurches. Time collapses. She presses the plunger. A distant, muffled rumble begins. The charges are primed. The steel groans in protest. Sparks ignite along the beams. Gunfire erupts. Shadows dance in the rain. German soldiers rush toward the bridge, weapons raised. Elena and Tarek dive behind cover. Explosions tear through the night as steel buckles and planks splinter. The bridge shuddering violently. Smoke and steam rise, mixing with the rain. The river roars beneath, swallowing fragments of metal and wood. The team scrambles down the slope, adrenaline cutting through exhaustion. Behind them, the bridge collapses. A fiery tomb of twisted steel and shattered timber. Elena's chest heaves. They have done it, for now. But victory tastes bitter. From the shadows, more boots, reinforcements. The Germans are not far behind, and their wrath will be swift. Elena glances at her unit. Faces streaked with mud, rain, and fear, but alive. For a fleeting moment, a grim camaraderie binds them. Then a single gunshot cuts through the night, closer than expected. Someone has been spotted. The night erupts into chaos. German shouts ricochet off the hills as reinforcements pour down the slope, boots thudding on wet earth. Elena grabs Anna's arm, dragging her low through the mud. Tarek covers their retreat, rifle bark cracking through the storm. Every shadow could conceal death. Every sound, the snapping branch, a distant engine, is a countdown. Elena's mind races. The bridge is destroyed. Supplies halted, but survival is far from guaranteed. Behind them, explosions send shards of timber and steel flying. The bridge collapsing into the roaring river below. Marie signals from a ridge above. This way, she yells over the rain. The women follow, hearts pounding. Rain soaks them, chills cutting through their uniforms. Sophia slips, mud sucking at her boots. But Elena catches her, a swift tug saving her from falling into a jagged ravine. The narrow ledges of rock feel treacherous underfoot. The Germans are relentless. A flare arcs overhead, illuminating the group for a split second. Faces pale, eyes wide. Weapons ready, the partisans are ghosts in the storm. Bullets ricochet off stone, singing past ears, while distant machine gun fire tears into the hillside. Elena's pulse pounds in sync with the chaos, but her hands are steady. Every decision must be exact. They descend into a narrow gorge, the river to their left thundering like a beast. Tarek gestures for silence. Anna, shivering, trembles as she peers over the rock edge. "I'm scared," she whispers. Elena grips her shoulder, voice calm but firm. "Good. Fear keeps you alive." Suddenly, a low whistle. German dogs. tracking by scent. Elena curses under her breath. The patrol is close. Shadows move faster, boots splashing in puddles. Every step is a gamble. Marie covers the rear, pistol blazing, forcing the enemy to hesitate. One of the Germans yells orders, panic creeping into the commands. Elena spots a cave entrance, partially hidden by overhanging roots and rocks. It's their only chance. She signals. The team dives inside, huddled and silent. Water drips from stalactites onto mud-streaked faces. Hearts pound, every breath loud in the confined space. Outside, German boots stomp closer, then pause, voices tense, dogs growling. Minutes stretch like hours. Anna presses herself against Elena, shaking but alive. Tarek scans the cave's narrow opening. No safe exit yet. The women whisper prayers, silent confessions, fragments of songs from home. Each woman carries a story of loss, courage, and unbroken resolve. In this dark, wet shelter, humanity clings to the edges of fear. Then, a sudden snap from deep inside the cave, not outside. Something moves, something alive. Elena tightens her grip on her pistol. Tarek signals, eyes narrowing. The darkness conceals both salvation and threat. Every second could mean discovery, or death. The cave's shadows stretch like fingers across Elena's face. Every heartbeat pounds against the walls. The snap she heard wasn't outside, it came from deeper within. Tarek signals to stay silent. The unit freezes, breaths shallow, ears straining. From the darkness, a figure emerges, not German, but a local farmer. His hands are raised, soaked, trembling. "Please, help," he whispers. Elena studies him. His clothes are torn, his eyes haunted. He could be a spy, or someone desperate for safety. In war, the line between friend and enemy blurs, and the weight of that choice is immediate. Elena steps forward. "Who sent you?" she asks. His voice cracks. I know the paths the Germans use. I can guide you, but not without payment." The moral calculus hits her like a fist. Pay him and risk betrayal. Refuse and face the mountains blind. The team waits, silent, tension coiling tighter than a spring. Sophia whispers calculations, tracing possible escape routes in the mud with a stick. Marie scans the cave entrance, restless, pistol ready. Anna fidgets, clutching her rifle. Elena exhales, feeling the rain outside seep through her clothes and bones. We take him, but every step, everyone watches. They move out, the farmer leading through winding forest paths. Mist curls like smoke around gnarled roots and fallen trees. The night is alive with unseen eyes. Every snap of twig sends rifles up. Elena senses the moral weight pressing on them. Civilians may die, yet the mission must succeed. Suddenly, voices ahead, German patrols, moving too quickly. The farmer freezes. Elena signals halt. Tarek nods, positioning the women behind thick undergrowth. Bullets wind through trees, ripping leaves, forcing them to flatten against the earth. One of the women stumbles. Anna. A shot rings out, grazing her shoulder. She cries out, pain cutting through fear. Elena grabs her, dragging her low. The patrol passes, unaware, guns raised. Hearts pound, lungs burn. Elena's mind calculates, slow and silent, or fast and dangerous. The choice is life or death, repeated in seconds. They press onward, the farmer leading them through a narrow ravine. The fog thickens, obscuring everything. Elena feels the weight of each decision. Every wrong turn could cost the mission, or worse, cost her team. A flash of movement in the mist, German lights sweep the ravine. The farmer hesitates, then bolts, vanishing into the fog. Elena curses, signaling the women. Stay close. Keep moving. Tarek covers the rear as they dash through the mud, bullets splashing the earth around them. Suddenly, the sound of mechanical engines, armored vehicles closing fast. The night erupts into chaos once more. Elena realizes the Germans are adapting, cutting off their escape. The mission is far from over, and the cost is rising. A scream echoes ahead, not from the enemy. One of their own may have been caught. Elena grips her pistol tighter, eyes narrowing through the fog. The fog thickens into a shroud, swallowing sound and sight. Elena leads the group through a narrow gorge, every step measured, boots sinking into mud slicked by rain. Anna's shoulder bleeds, warm and sticky under Elena's hand, but she refuses to cry aloud. Each heartbeat is a countdown to discovery. The roar of German engines grows louder. Armored vehicles claw their way through the forest, cutting off escape routes, forcing the partisans to hug cliffs and scramble over jagged rocks. Tarek signals left, a hidden trail winding along the cliffside. The women follow, tense and silent, shadows among shadows. Suddenly, a shot echoes. The air vibrates. Elena drops low, dragging Anna behind a fallen tree. A German soldier is pinned on the path below, his body a stark silhouette against a flare's glow. The team freezes, realizing they are visible from multiple angles. Every second matters, every choice a gamble between survival and death. Marie whispers urgently, "We can't go back." The gorge ends soon. Sophia, crouched beside her, examines the map etched in memory. There's a ravine ahead, steep, but if we descend carefully. Elena nods. There is no choice. The path is treacherous, but it is all they have. The descent begins. Elena leads, hands gripping roots slick with rain, guiding the wounded Anna. Mud slides beneath them, rain biting at exposed skin. The soldiers below shout commands, gunfire ricocheting, sparks flying off rocks. Fear and adrenaline collide in Elena's chest. But training prevails. Move silently, aim true, survive. From behind, Tarek signals a sudden halt. Shadows detach from the mist. German scouts circling. Elena tightens her grip on her pistol, eyes flicking between silhouettes and the jagged cliff. Trust is tested. Every civilian, every local, every sound could betray them. A sudden collapse, part of the cliffside gives way under their weight. Rocks tumble down, crashing into the river far below. Elena dives, dragging Anna to safety. Rain and blood mix in the mud. One misstep and they would be gone. She forces herself to breathe, her chest heaving, heart pounding in tandem with gunfire. The scouts advance. Elena whispers, "Hold," until the last moment. From above, Marie fires. A single precise shot, a scout falls silently into the mist. Another flares torchlight, scanning. Elena signals forward, calculating distance, speed, and risk. They sprint, leaping over roots and fallen logs, barely evading detection. Suddenly, a German officer emerges ahead, young, cold-eyed, weapon raised. Elena freezes for a heartbeat. The weight of responsibility presses down. Every life in the unit balanced on a knife's edge. She assesses distraction, misdirection, or direct confrontation. Seconds stretch, a storm of fear, courage, and human resolve. The officer's finger tightens on the trigger. Elena's decision comes fast, precise, a heartbeat of instinct and training. Dawn begins to bleed into the fog, pale light slicing through the mist like a warning. Elena's team moves cautiously, boots sinking into wet earth, rifles clutched tightly. The cliffside descent is over, but the valley below holds new dangers. German reinforcements have blocked predictable paths. Every shadow could conceal death. Anna's breathing is shallow. The wound on her shoulder seeps through bandages. Elena presses a cloth against it, forcing calm. "We keep moving," she whispers. Anna nods, teeth clenched, courage far exceeding her years. Marie glances back repeatedly, pistol ready, eyes sharp for any hint of movement. Sophia murmurs calculations under her breath, tracking patrols, exits, and risks with unnerving precision. Through the fog, a small village emerges, abandoned, shells of homes scarred by artillery. Elena considers risk shelter and rest, or bypass and move blind through open fields. The choice is morally complicated. Civilians might return. The enemy could ambush them. Every decision has human cost. A sudden cry, someone screams from the village. Elena freezes. Shadows move, to partisan men, wounded and cornered by German soldiers. The team hesitates. Save them and risk exposure, or continue the mission and leave comrades to fate. Elena glances at the unit. Fear and resolve mingle in their eyes. She makes the call. We save them. No one left behind. Every woman shifts instinctively, covering angles. Tarek nods, signaling for suppressive fire. The firefight is brutal. Smoke curls from burning homes, bullets whistling through timber and stone. Elena and Marie flank, taking calculated shots. Sophia administers first aid to the wounded men. Anna, trembling, fires once, hitting a German soldier in the shoulder. Fear and courage interlace in her hands. Finally, silence falls, broken only by distant artillery. The rescued men collapse against a wall, alive but gasping. Elena exhales, chest heaving, eyes scanning the fog. Victory tastes bitter. They have survived, but danger is far from over. Suddenly, movement. German soldiers emerge from the far edge of the village. Encircling them, the unit is trapped. Elena's mind races. Options vanish as quickly as shadows. A misstep could mean death. She glances at Anna, Marie, and Sophia, their courage unwavering despite exhaustion and injury. The young farmer they trusted earlier reappears from the fog, hands raised. He signals a hidden path through a ravine leading to dense woods. Elena's instincts scream caution, but the alternative is certain death. Follow him. Quietly, the team moves as one, huddled low, breath shallow, every sound amplified in the eerie dawn. But just as they near the ravine entrance, a German officer steps into their path, rifle trained. His gaze sweeps the unit, eyes cold, calculating. Elena's pulse spikes. Seconds stretch like hours. The weight of every life in her hands presses down. The officer's finger tightens on the trigger. Time stops. The German officer stands no more than 15 feet away. His uniform is crisp despite the mud, his rifle steady, eyes hard and unreadable. For a single frozen moment, the world narrows to breath, muscle, and will. Elena feels Anna's weight against her arm, feels Marie's presence to her left, Sophia's to her right. Lives bound together by a single decision. The officer opens his mouth to shout. Elena moves first. She throws a stone hard to the right, not to distract, but to mislead. At the same instant, Marie fires once, clean. The officer drops before the echo fades. Chaos erupts. German voices shout from the fog, boots pounding toward the sound. Elena signals forward, and the unit surges into the ravine. The path is narrow, steep, and choking with brush. Bullets snap overhead, tearing leaves into the air. Tarek falls behind, covering their retreat, firing in controlled bursts. Elena hears him yell once, pain, not fear. She wants to stop. She cannot. The mission has already cost too much. The ravine opens into dense forest. Fog clings low between trees, masking movement. The group collapses behind a rock formation, gasping for breath. Sophia works fast, binding wounds. Anna trembles, pale but alive. Marie reloads, hands steady despite exhaustion. Moments later, German patrols flood the ravine, too late. The forest swallows the women whole. By nightfall, they reach a hidden partisan safe house deep in the hills. A candle flickers against stone walls. Rain drips from torn coats. Tarek is carried in last, wounded but breathing. Elena sits beside him, silent, listening to the storm outside and the quiet inside. 2 days later, Allied reconnaissance confirms it. The destroyed bridge halts German troop movement for weeks. A prisoner convoy is rerouted and intercepted. Dozens live because of what these women did. Their names will not appear in newspapers. Their faces will not be framed in victory photographs. Weeks later, Elena receives new orders from another mission, another crossing behind enemy lines. She folds the paper carefully, tucks it into her coat. She looks at her unit, at Anna, now steadier, at Sophia, already recalculating, at Marie, cleaning her weapon in silence. Women shaped by war, but not broken by it. Elena steps outside. Dawn rises over the mountains. Smoke drifts where villages once stood. Somewhere below, the enemy regroups, adapts, hunts. She squares her shoulders. The war is far from over, and neither are they.